Well, good morning. I don't know if this thing, is it working? Okay, cool. All right, well, my name is Derrick Bell with Arrowhead Plumbing. Our motto is if it's worth doing right, period. If you ever ask one of my plumbers to come to your house and say, I heard this plumber said we can do this. If it's not in compliance with the Georgia State Code, he will say to you, thank you, I wish you the best on any further endeavors. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're not going to make it easier than it should be to save you money. Because at the end of the day, when your insurance broker comes and says you do a claim, who installed this? They say licensed plumber. Now the state says it's on the hands of the plumber. Once I touch it, I own it. Once I touch it, I have to bring it back in compliance to the Georgia State Code as of the year that we're complying with, which is 2018. A licensed plumber is required to take 8 hours of continuous education each year after you get your license. I'm an unrestricted master plumber. Well, what does that mean? That means anything from the site work that they do on the street, I can run from there into your building to 54 stories to the back to a septic tank. I choose not to do septic tanks. Some people find that odd because I'm already messing with raw sewage. Why wouldn't I want to go mess with a septic tank? I just prefer not to because don't want to mess with that much crap, all right? We do anything from remodels to unforeseen slab leaks. What does that mean? Some of you live in prestige areas, Sugarloaf Country Club, St. Marlowe's, high-end neighborhoods. When a plumber comes in, he is the first one to come in on site. The mechanical trades will tell you that. That consists of Reginald, HVAC, that consists of Bryant, electrical, that consists of myself, plumbing. That's the mechanical trades. We're required to do certain things in the ethics of make sure we protect the welfare of the human beings in their homes. How we contracted? Through licensed contractors. Licensed contractors like Rob will hire us to do that work for you, okay? Because his ownership, what he stands for, we have to maintain for a year. When you hire Arrowhead Plumbing to do any work on the outside of your dwelling means the 4 walls. You may have more walls, but they said the 4 walls. We warranty our work for 5 years. If the pipe material we use, we warranty it 10 years. We're confident in what we're going to install, that we're not coming back. My guys, people say, well, how do you get your contractors to go back? Great point. I charge them back if it's done wrong, period. We've had a young lady that went to single women. Women always complain about guys trying to rip them off. I had a plumber that worked for me for 5 years. Dug in the ground 12 foot, put sure in the ground. I look over every invoice and make sure the material that we use is in compliance to that application that we're doing, period. So I said, why are you using a no-hub band? No-hub bands is meant to be used on the outside of the ground. He used it. I said, you know this your last day, right? I'm not one to tolerate nonsense when you know what should be used in the ground. There's 2 different things. You can exceed the code or you can meet the expectations of the code. I always tell my guys to exceed the expectation of that municipality you're working in to avoid any problems. If a state representative, meaning a county inspector comes, he will look at it and say, hey, by the way, that's not a requirement. Now you're dancing. You don't want that. That means fines come upon myself. I'm not for that. So we rather do what the state requires and exceed the expectations that the state is asking for. A couple of things you can do in your home that I find common practices in home, common. You don't put eggshells in a garbage disposal, okay? You don't put coffee grinds in a garbage disposal. You scrape off the excess food on your plate, spaghetti, whatever it may be, into the trash receptacle. From there, you wash the plate off and you put it in the dishwasher. If you're lazy, I can install anything that you want in your home. It will cost you. I can install a garbage disposal that will chew up your jeans if you don't want to use anything and do it in that manner. Either way, it's going to cost you. So you can cost me and jam it up, and then I have to call Rob and tell him what I have to do because it costs secondary to the damage of your home, and then go from that point. Some of us laugh about that. I had a young lady who says, I take my watermelon rinds and stick it down my garbage disposal, okay? I said, oh, okay, how long has this been happening? I've been living here 10 years, and I've been doing it. So now I'm saying, okay, I have to cut that section of pipe, find where it is in the piping system, going through your home, linear foot of each pipe going to the drain. I have to find it. How do I find it? I use a camera. Camera goes through just like a doctor, use a camera in it, find it. Then I have to bring trash bags in, trash cans, and drill a hole in the pipe into all the water, catch the water on dollies, take it outside, dump it, and keep doing it in that manner. You don't want to pay for that service, so don't put watermelon rinds in the actual drain because it will cost you, okay? Second thing the plumber will always make sure he looks for. If I'm doing a remodel project, I don't just go and say, okay, great, we got this remodel. I'm looking beyond the actual tile that you're doing. I'm looking at the wood, the structure. Depending on how big you are, you standing in that, do I need to have the wood replaced? Now I need to tell Rob I can't do it because the wood needs to be replaced. If he vetoes me, the blood is not on my hand. But he's not going to veto me because I'm telling him I need to replace the wood and things of that nature. I may call Garrett if it's wood. If it's mold, I may call Rob. Those are the things that a plumber looks at. Remember, I'm the first one in, the last one leave. Once the walls go up, I put the fixtures on the walls and make sure that your home is meeting the expectations of what you purchased it for. Those are the different things that we do. 1 out of 5 individuals in this room right now have a pressure issue in their home. 1 out of 5. There's 2 ways you can look at it. You can go to Home Depot, buy a gauge, it's $10. Pick on the back hose bib. The hose bib is the spigot on the back of your house. The pressure should read anywhere from 50 to 75. If it's over and you want to play Russian roulette, you'll call Rob and me soon. You will call us when the pipes burst in your home, okay? It's nothing to play with. That's why we check it. Just like you go to the doctor checks your blood pressure. We check your pipe systems to make sure it's not exceeding the pressure that your home is designated to be rated at, depending on the size of the home. So those are the different things that we do with Arrowhead Plumbing. All my guys can go through continuous education, sales training, information I get from new vendors, and I train them on how to do it because master plumbers do the teaching of the training, maybe at the institutions that they have trade programs as well as in the field. So that's what we do at Arrowhead Plumbing. I've been in business for 15 years and we're planning on being in business for a lot longer than that. So thank you. That's my presentation.